welcome back. Episode 369 of the Purple Rain podcast. Aaron Crawford, Willie Henry, Tyler Ott episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Boy, per usual, a lot to talk about here. I mean, we have head coaching news, we have playoff news, lots to talk about. So, first off, you can follow us on Instagram here at the Purple Rain podcast. This guy over here on Instagram or on X as Sutton Def. Me, Instagram simply as10.prod, X simply as10. Like I said before, definitely want to follow on Instagram, probably the latest updates for all this head coaching news. We have a lot to talk about. The Ravens today, I think, requested to interview two more guys, I want to say, that came out. We've already interviewed about 5 or 6 guys. So the news keeps on coming, and we're going to keep on, bringing the news to you. But, man, these playoff games this weekend, I'll tell you what, probably one of the best wild card weekends in recent memory. I mean, every game,
Yeah.
excluding last night's, even last night up in the fourth quarter, a one possession game. I really was just like, bravo to the NFL for what they put together this weekend. Every game was a must watch. That's to talk about. But first off, Ravens news. So Sutton, we are a week removed. Well, we're 6 days removed from the John Harbaugh firing. I'm still kind of over the moon about it. I'm still excited for this next chapter. I've been doing my homework with some of these coaches. I know who I really want, my number one guy. But speaking of John Harbaugh, he had his first interview today with the Atlanta Falcons. And I will be keeping up, I'll keep up like an ex-girlfriend. If you break up, you keep your tabs on them. And I will be keeping my tabs on Mr. Harbaugh, where he goes. That's interesting to me. Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have never guessed like Atlanta for John Harbaugh. Like, what the hell is he? That's like the polar bear in Arlington, Texas, sort of meme. I just like, I would imagine him like either New York Giants or Miami Dolphins. Like, those are the only two realistic destinations where I could think that like he could justify going there and kind of finishing up his coaching career. I mean, the guy's 63. I don't know if he wants to try to rebuild the Atlanta Falcons. Number one, I just don't think he fits in that city, quite frankly. And number two, I think that they are not as turnkey of a franchise as as he might prefer right now at his this stage in his career. So maybe he goes there. Maybe he was just doing his due diligence, seeing what they had to say, whatever. But I still think that John Harbaugh is going to either the New York Giants or the Miami Dolphins. You can book that. But Alex, it's good to see you, man. Last Thursday had a good show and we did some predictions, and you actually made me privy to something that I didn't realize, that we came very, very close. We actually are very, very close to hitting on our last Purple Rain parlay, a plus 500 lay, right? You want to go ahead and let the people know how that's
Yeah,
going?
and it might be more depending on what book, but it was the over on Ted McMillan, the over on Caleb Williams passing yards, 25 plus Josh Allen rushing yards, which cashed on that little fake tush push, that which we'll talk about that. And then
Yeah.
tonight it comes down to Kalen Zacharias Metcalf, his
Yeah.
over of 54.5, and that would cash us out. We also our lotto would have it lost, but it was Colston Loveland, Pat Fryermuth, and then Kincaid touchdown. Colston Loveland, I will stand by it. That was a great read. I think he had 7 catches, 120 some yards. Definitely deserved a touchdown in that game, but I'm definitely hyped for tonight. See if we can definitely cash that lay, and just kind of some good omen, moving forward with these.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Shout out to everybody here in the live chat. I see Spooky J in the chat. Don Royals in the chat. We got a member. Member Moggs is in the chat. What's going on, Moggs? Says hashtag Kubiak for head coach. Yeah, he's growing on me, man. He's growing on me. Who else we got in here? We got Chike in the house. Says, salute, gentlemen. You need to see the clip of that Eagles fan that's roasted Kevin Patullo, and I'm telling you, we need to trade Zay Flowers and get A.J. Brown to Baltimore ASAP because he is a wide receiver one. I am in total agreement with you, Chike. After what happened last night, I think that A.J. Brown, his time in Philly is done. He could potentially come to Baltimore. He could be the first wide receiver that the Ravens get actually in their prime, like not like way, way past their prime. If the Ravens could somehow swing A.J. Brown, that would be the second coming of Anquan Bolden. I'm just calling that right now. Don't know if they'll make a swing that big, but hopefully they do. We'll see. Shout out to you, Chike. Appreciate you for coming through. King Blaze in the house. What's going on, King Blaze? JD says, what's good, y'all? What's going on, JD? What up? Appreciate y'all for coming through. Again, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This is the Purple Rain Podcast, a Baltimore Ravens podcast. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens season is over, but that does not stop us here at PRP. We will be covering the team, like my guy Alex said, all year long. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you lock in with us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. But okay, Alex, we got some stuff to get into, particularly pertaining to this Ravens head coaching carousel. I honestly think the Ravens are getting close to
Mm,
finding that one candidate that they really, really want to hire. Steve Bisciotti has surprised me in this past week. Like you said, it's been 6 days since the Harbaugh firing. And they have interviewed or requested to interview a slew of candidates. Some guys we've heard of, some guys we've never heard of, right? They're casting a very, very wide net. Alex, what are your current thoughts on it? I'm going to bring up the Ravens head
yeah.
coach tracker on screen so we can kind of go through it together. But as it stands today, Monday, January 12th, who is your leading candidate for who you want the Ravens to hire?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy with what they've done. They've kind of there's no exceptions. It's any and everybody. They don't care about age, don't care about experience. They just want to see get the right candidate. And my number one right now is Clint Kubiak, probably far and away. I like what he brings. I'm all for it. As you bring up the head coach tracker, and we even got more news today. I believe Chris Shula from the Rams, Jesse Minter now. I believe we've submitted in there, and you see here Jim Schwartz as well, who is my dream as a defensive coordinator. Would absolutely
Yeah,
be just a mouth-watering possibility to have him here. Come back home. He is from Maryland, and he was here before, I think, as a QB coach back in the Flacco days before he got picked off and went to the Lions as their head coach. But they're bringing any and everybody in. I really like it a lot. I don't see how you can be upset with it. Obviously, I'm not happy with Nagy, but it's a Zoom interview. If he came to the castle for an interview, I'd be a little worried. But they're just kind of making sure they touch every single stone, make sure they can get every type of candidate. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's something that I'm not used to. We've done this once before in my lifetime, which was with John
yeah,
Harbaugh, and I'm learning more things, how you can't request guys or you can talk to guys from the playoffs. I think 3 days after they play. So we can't talk to Robert Saleh again until Wednesday, and then Chris Shula again until tomorrow. Just I'm learning a lot as a fan. I think I'm not used to going through this process. Unlike a Browns fan, Jets fan, Cardinal fan, it's
little
weird to us.
shade.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, that we are going through this here, but it was due. But I'm very excited as a fan. I just I trust them to get the right guy. I don't know about you, but exciting is the only word I can really describe.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a very different time here in Baltimore for the Ravens fans, and like you said, we have only really gone through this. I mean, if you just take it for in its totality, the Ravens have only had what, three head coaches in its lifetime. You had Ted, and then you had Billick, and then you had John Harbaugh, and now we're getting ready to step into the fourth head coach of the Baltimore Ravens franchise since they've existed. And like we said, it's been 18 years, right? A lot of us were a lot younger than we are right now 18 years ago, obviously. And it's just, it feels like just a new era here for, for the flock. And like you said, there's no other word to use to describe it other than just like I'm excited because it feels like we're finally turning the page and we're finally going to turn a new leaf and kind of forge a new identity out of whoever we get out of this head coaching search. But going through this Ravens head coaching tracker here, like you mentioned, they started off here with Jim Schwartz. This was kind of like the latest news that came out. The Ravens requested an interview with Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz for their head coaching job. Schwartz also interviewed for Cleveland's head coaching job, and the team doesn't want to lose him, but their AFC North rivals will speak with him. I mean, again, if I'm Jim Schwartz, again, like you said, dream defensive coordinator. I don't know so much about a head coach. I would preferably want somebody a little bit younger, a little bit more relatable with the players, things like that, right? A little bit maybe, one of these boy geniuses at offensive court, for offensive guys or defensive guys. But Jim Schwartz, I'm not mad at it. Again, the Ravens are doing their due diligence. They're casting a wide net, and they're really just trying to make sure that they leave no stone unturned in this hiring process, which we appreciate. But like you mentioned, I do think that Jim Schwartz would be better as a defensive coordinator than Ravens head coach.
Yeah, you see on here. A Maryland native, went to Mount St. Joseph High School. First job in the NFL was coach for outside linebackers from '96 to '98. Been a DC for the Titans, Bills, Eagles, and Browns, and that to me is all more so why I want him as a DC. Like I'm not really hip to him being a head coach, but can't hurt to bring him in and kind of just maybe get an outsider's opinions on what we're doing, maybe right or wrong. I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm really like just moved by the most is you're gonna hear all these different guys in the NFL, their opinions on the Baltimore Ravens franchise and what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and how they would bring their influence to craft us even better. And I think you can just learn from that. Here, Cliff Kingsbury, 46, interviewed him today for that coaching job. Not my number one guy, but still bring a guy with a great offensive mind. Can't hurt to have him here. Maybe his opinions on this offense, what he would do. That's what I like to see. And obviously, his background here. The Commanders OC, the fifth highest score in all friends with Gene Daniels, got into the NFC Championship last year.
Yeah.
Then the Cardinals head coach as well that got them, I believe, into the playoffs one of the years as well.
I didn't realize he was a former quarterback, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Didn't know that. But he's got, of course, like we see here, head coaching experience at the NFL and college levels. Led the Arizona Cardinals from 2019 to 22. So basically, the Kyler Murray era there, he kind of ushered that in, and then he also coached Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech 2013 to 2018. So he's got a background dealing with some pretty good quarterbacks. I don't have any doubt in my mind that if he came here as maybe say an offensive coordinator, he could turn things up, right? But just again as a head coach, I think that we're really, really looking for, Alex, that leadership quality. And I just don't know if he's got that on that level that we need right now, right? Somebody who's really going to bring this Ravens team together. Robert Saleh is in my top 5 now, says DWAS with the $2 super chat donation. Thank you so much, DWAS, making it rain here. What do you think about Robert Saleh? Because he's another guy, after last night. Of course, we'll get into our wild card reactions a little later on the show. But I saw a guy who might be in contention for getting that head coaching job. Like he's right up there with Brian Flores. Like they're kind of like neck and neck for me. What do you think about Robert Saleh?
how could you not be impressed with that performance yesterday? I
Yeah,
know the Eagles' offense have had their struggles, but you look at the talent. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goddard. That's a good offense. And with all due respect, Wink Martindale said this. Guy was throwing DoorDash drivers out there on his defense and was shutting them down. He really was. I mean, he has no Bosa, no Fred
yeah,
Warner. His secondary is banged up, has, third, fourth, fifth stringers out there, and they're getting it done. Albeit the drops helped, but he was scheming the guys up right. I mean, I was just very, very impressed by what he did in the 49ers, and I was happy to see them win. I picked the Eagles, but Purdy going in there and just them kind of just having the chip on their shoulder and fighting back, and the defense, man. Robert Saleh, hat tip to you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Very impressive stuff what we saw from the 49ers last night. Of course, we'll get into more of that a little bit later, but just talking to, as Robert Saleh as a potential head coaching candidate for this Ravens team, I personally love it. Um, again, I mean, of course, defensive minded guy, and I'm on record saying that I want an offensive minded head coach, but I think that the quality that I'm valuing the most is the leadership. Like, quite simply put, I think that this Ravens team has enough talent on it to where like it can run itself in a way. Like either way, like I don't want to say no matter who the coach is, they'll perform, but like they have enough talent to get shit done is basically what I'm trying to say. They need somebody who is going to, rally the troops, really reel guys in, especially when we get rattled, we face adversity, right? They need somebody who's not going to have the hardball face on the sideline and look dumbfounded, right? And not be able to lead his team. Leadership is the number one quality that I think that Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta should be looking for when they're searching for this next head coach. That is my number one thing. Outside of that, of course, I think offensive mind and then defensive mind right underneath that. That's kind of like my priority list. But leadership needs to be at the forefront to me. You need a guy, you need a dude like that, and I think Robert Saleh is that dude.
Yeah, and I'm not going to try to look too much on his Jets tenure because he was dealt with some tough hands there. I thought they had some talented teams, but when your quarterback Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, who gets hurt the first drive of your season and comes back and still probably not 100%, it's hard to get anything going. I think
Yeah,
him going back to the Niners really showed, the coach he is. So definitely that's interesting. This one as well. Anthony Weaver, former Ravens defensive line coach, former player, interviewing him as well today. So that's now 7 interviews, I believe, completed today.
yeah,
Uh, Out of 15 candidates, 14 to 15, I think more are going to be coming out, which it's it's very interesting the guys we've picked. It's guys who have the Ravens background and the guys who haven't stepped foot in probably in Baltimore except playing a game here. So
yeah.
I'm really just like, I would love to hear what they say or what questions they're asking, but obviously this is all Zoom interviews right now, nothing in person. That's when you hear in person, it's getting serious.
What? So let me ask you this, Alex. What do you think? Because obviously we're not in the rooms. We would love to be a fly
Yeah.
on the wall in these interviews. What do you think is like one good question that the Ravens are asking some of these candidates? Because for me, I'll just start it off. I think that they're mainly asking these guys, okay, what are your plans for Lamar Jackson? How do you plan to, you know, take Lamar Jackson's game to the next level? Because obviously that is the engine, heart, and soul of this team, franchise, and city, right? What are your plans for him? So I think that when they interview these defensive guys, like I would love to hear, whether it's like, oh, I plan on hiring this guy, I plan on bringing in this offensive coordinator who, I love, or I plan on doing this with Lamar in the offense, or that. I think, again, the focal point outside of leadership needs to be the offense and making sure that that offense can not only score points, but have sustained drives, right? And also, again, take Lamar Jackson's game to the next level, because I still think that there's a part of Lamar Jackson's game that is still hasn't been unlocked yet. So I want to toss that question to you, Alex, and we do have a
Yeah.
super chat donation to get into. But
Yeah.
what do you think is a really key question that Steve Bisciotti is asking some of these candidates?
It's definitely going to be centered around Lamar. I'm going to make it. I mean, mine was kind of the same thing, but I'm going to ask a different one just for the sake of it. Devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you look at this Ravens team, what are the weaknesses you see? Obviously, us as fans say the line. We say, the defense. We could be as schematically because we see Odafe Owe have 3 sacks last night and two forced
Oh my
fumbles.
gosh,
Which, by
bro.
the way, you know what? I'm happy for him. That game last night made him a lot of money, and that trade was probably the best thing for his career, and financially as well. But it's how would you turn these weaknesses into strengths, and what's your plans for it? Obviously, the Lamar things first and foremost, but I think the line as well. How would you fix this line? Where would you allocate draft resources to? Like stuff like that. With this 14 overall pick, what position are you going with? You know what I mean? Just small things like
That's a
that.
good
I
point.
would love to hear that, but it's just like a limitless amount of questions you can ask, especially because this team has just question marks, defensively and offensively. But Lamar, first and foremost, that's the first question. How can you
For sure.
maximize this guy? 2-time MVP. How can you make him better?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Because there's still room for growth with Lamar. Like I said, like I don't think that he's done evolving and getting better. He's got some more good football ahead of him. Mad Rasta with the 5 piece in the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat donation, brother. Mad Rasta says, can we stop saying the Ravens are talented? Lamar, Kyle, Henry, and Zay are good, but the rest of the team is not good, and their play has proven it. I disagree. I disagree, Mad Rasta. I think that this team going into this 2025 season, we thought that the roster was more than good enough, even with the deficiencies at offensive line, more than good enough to not only win this division, win 12, 13 games, go to the playoffs, and make another run. A lot of us thought that. I mean, if you were one of the people who were in our chat rooms and saying, "Oh, the Ravens are going to be trash this year. The Ravens are going to be 8-9, sub 500." Then shout out to you. I mean, you got a mystical ball that I don't have, but I didn't see a whole lot of people saying anything like that, right? Like again, even with the problems at O line, a lot of us still thought that this Ravens team had a lot of talent, and they do. I mean, outside of the guys you just named, Mad Rosta, I mean, you've got other guys like Nate Wiggins. You've got guys like Roquan Smith. You can't tell me Roquan Smith is not talented. He's just not performing right now. Hopefully, the next coaching regime can unlock a little something in him too. Um, the likes of Marlon Humphrey, who I think is getting a little bit older, Travis Jones, who's a dog, right? He was just missing Namdi Matabike, right? There's some talent on the roster. There's a lot of talent, as a matter of fact. So I disagree with you there, Mad Rasta, but Alex, what say you?
I think we are a talented team. I think we are dealt a tough hand because I'm going to ask you this question, Sutton. Before going
Okay.
into this past year, who were your top 3 most valuable Ravens? Guys you couldn't afford to lose.
Well, Lamar, Henry, and I would say, honestly, I would have to say Matabike, and we lost him.
So, yeah, mine's Lamar, Hamilton, Matabike. And you lose him.
Okay.
I'm not making excuses. I think we should have been better equipped, but you take Chris Jones off the Chiefs, one of the Super Bowl years. They probably don't win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's how big Madubuike was for us. Um, Roquan, I believe, is talented. It's not our fault he got paid and forgot how to play football. I mean, the talent is there. I think he has become lazy. I just don't think he's right at all. I think Owe obviously has talent that we just can't get out of edge rushers. And that comes down to coaching, which once again, I'm excited because we can get a coach now that can play these players to their strengths. We saw Owe
Yeah.
was a double digit guy. Not saying he would be that Max Crosby, that Trey Hendrickson, that Micah Parsons, but he could be a guy that could get us sacks. Don't know where it's at. Goes to elsewhere, puts up hell of a lot of sacks, forced fumbles in a playoff game, turnovers. Man, the last time we had a turnover in a playoff game, you know when that was?
When was that?
It's been over 5 years.
Whew.
Marcus Peters interception
Lord.
off of Ryan Tannehill.
Oh,
It's
right,
stuff
right,
like
yeah.
that. It's stuff like that. Don Royal, Warhop. I think that too. I think maybe we do have talented guys on the line. Maybe we just have a terrorist coaching them. Because Emory, I'm not calling Emory Jones an all-star. I'm calling him. He can come in and probably do better than what we had. The talent is there. I just think these guys got lazy. I think they got complacent. That's why we have a new head coach coming in.
Yeah,
So that
definitely.
ultimately falls on him. But yeah,
And just to kind of like wrap that up on Matabike, I think that Matabike was a huge domino that tipped over early in the season, and it kind of had like a trickle down effect on the rest of the defense. To be honest with you, like because of course, as we all know, the game of football is one down low in the trenches, the offensive line and the defensive line. So if the defensive line, right, is not competent enough to, stop the run, but also be able to rush the passer from the interior, that is going to have an effect on the linebackers. It's going to have an effect on the secondary. And I think that's really what we witnessed this year, right? Travis Jones couldn't do it by himself. John Jenkins, he was definitely serviceable, and I'm still surprised they extended him and brought him back. But the Ravens are definitely going to need, especially since we know Nnamdi Madubuike is not going to be back most likely. They're going to need somebody else to shore up that defensive line, and I hope that whoever the next head coach is for the Ravens comes in and realizes that, and they address that quick, fast, and in a hurry, because I think that definitely had, like, again, a trickle down effect on the rest of the defense. Nnamdi Madubuike going down. Um, but let's get back to the Ravens head coaching
yeah. And
tracker, shall
real
we?
quick,
Go
I
ahead.
would love in the future episode, maybe next week or something, we can go through this whole Ravens roster and we can
Mhm.
kind of go through each guy, each starter, and kind of say, would you keep them? Would you bench them? Would you like all of them? Cut, trade something. Because I think that would be a
Yeah.
great conversation with how we feel about these players, chat included. Because there's guys on this defense who I'm like Kyle Van Noy.
Hmm.
If you give him another contract, even 1 year, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
I just guys like that. I think I'm tired of getting. We stop keeping guys past their limit. I think this year was already past his limit, 2.5 sacks. Um, just a future idea. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. I think it'd be a really good conversation.
No, I think it'd be a great conversation. We can definitely do that, Alex. But you make a good point. I mean, the Ravens, they tend to keep guys a little bit longer than they probably should. But maybe, again, with the recent firing of Harbaugh, maybe Steve Bisciotti is turning a new leaf, a cutthroat sort of
Yeah,
leaf, where he's like, all right, we're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to rest on our laurels here. We're going to make moves. We're going to be proactive, right? We're not going to be reactive to things. And I like that. I like that a lot from Steve Bisciotti. So we'll see what type
yeah.
of conversations he's been having with Eric DeCosta and, how they move forward. But continuing with the head coach tracker here, Ravens are going to interview Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. This was tweeted from Tom Pelissero. Former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel will interview this week for the Browns, Falcons, Titans, and Ravens head coaching jobs. McDaniel is also scheduled to interview for the Lions offensive coordinator job. One of the NFL's top offensive minds is in high demand. Alex, what are you thinking about Mike McDaniel potentially being Ravens head coach?
Not as head coach for me. Definitely as an OC, but like that. I think if Robert Saleh came here, I think Mike McDaniel would come here. The San Francisco Shanahan connections. Um,
Yeah.
definitely as a head. I mean, as an offensive coordinator, it intrigues me. I'm not feeling the head coach though. You mentioned leader. I don't see that guy lost the locker room with the Dolphins. Guys were late, falling asleep in the meetings, not even showing up. We don't need that here.
No, we don't. Absolutely not. I mean, like you said, offensive coordinator, great, right? But head coach, absolutely not. As just, and there's nothing really against Mike McDaniel. I just don't think that he is a better leader of men than a lot of the other candidates, on the slate. So for that reason, I'm out on him. Juan Torres with the $5 super chat donation. Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
Juan. Making it rain here on the Purple Rain podcast says we need to trade these four contracts: Bateman, Andrews, Roquan, and Marlon, so we can have more cap. Go
Mhm.
get Justin Jefferson and shore up this offensive line. Hey, that is a hell of a offseason that would be if all of those things
Woo!
transpired. I understand getting rid of the Bateman contract, even though we're big Bateman truthers here on this show. It just doesn't really seem like the relationship is working the way that it needs to. He probably will excel elsewhere, which is fine.
Mhm.
Andrews, yeah, he's another one of those cases where you want to get rid of him before it's too late, right? Like you don't want to keep him a year or two or three too long, right? And they've already extended him, so we'll see how they choose to move with that. Roquan, hey man, unfortunately, how many years does Roquan have left on his contract? Do you know?
Signed in 22, 23, probably 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think he would be a tough sell because the thing about Roquan is that like it's not necessarily that he like does stuff to lose the Ravens the game like more often, but he just doesn't have enough impact. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he can get like 6 or 8 tackles in the game, right, and shut down a couple of runs. But like, is he forcing any fumbles? Is he causing havoc on the? He's not. He doesn't create chaos, right? But I do think that he was probably top 10 in tackles this year again. I would assume something was somewhere around there, even though he got hurt for a couple of weeks. But somebody would be willing. I think somebody would be interested in Roquan. So I do see the Ravens potentially maybe moving off of Roquan Smith and then Marlon. Look, man, I think it's time. I think it's time to go ahead and move on from Marlowe. Uh, these are huge contracts that we're talking about too, and we're going to need to free up some cap space if we want any sort of room. Post draft, post Lamar Jackson extension, all that good stuff. So I'm fine with moving most of the guys you mentioned here, Juan. I really am. Now getting Jettas, I don't think Justin Jefferson really fits in this offense. That's just me. But Alex, what say you?
I pulled up Spotrac. Obviously, I have all the cap hits up. I'm gonna go through the Ravens' top 5 guys and their cap hits next year. I'm gonna say their name and their cap hit. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson,
Mm.
74.5 million. Roquan Smith,
Mm.
32.7 million. Namdi Madubuike, 30.9 million. Marlon Humphrey, 26.2 million. Kyle Hamilton, 10.6 million.
Yeah.
Four
It's a lot
defensive
of
guys
money.
in there,
Yeah.
and we had one of the worst defenses last year.
It's unacceptable, man. It's totally unacceptable. Uh, yeah, I would not mind the Ravens trying to move off some of these players. Do I think it'll happen? Absolutely not. I think that Steve Bisciotti wants to run it back with a similar roster, of course, plus draft picks and maybe some free agency ads, things like that. But I think he just really wanted to retool the coaching staff, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think that the right coach can bring really good performances out of some of these guys that we just mentioned, right? But I do also think that and this is the same reason why I want an offensive minded head coach, right? Because we've poured so much into the defense, so much money, so much cap to no avail, right? There's no reason why you should have a bottom 10 defense, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Um, let me see here. Let me go back to our coaching tracker. Go ahead, Alex. My bad.
I'm just looking at our cap hits right now, and
Yeah, yeah.
my stomach's kind of sick. Just
Ah,
um, our top 10. It's Derrick Henry, then Broderick Washington. This is from 10-1.
mhm.
Henry, Broderick Washington, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Ronnie Stanley. Why on God's green earth is Broderick Washington in our top 10 of salary cap hits?
Yeah, it
I
makes no
get you want to
sense.
extend your young guys, but he didn't give you any reason to give him that type of money when you extended him. He had what, like an average year, and they gave him that money. I mean, I think he'll be gone. I'll save that all for one of our episodes. We can go through guys like maybe with a year or two left and saying, do we keep them? Do we cut them? Because it's sickening, man. It really is.
Yeah.
Back
We'll do a
back to the
keep.
head
We'll do it.
coaches.
We'll do a keep or cut episode. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, back to the head coaches though. Thank you again, Juan, for your super chat donation. Alex, what do we have here?
Jesse Minter. I think we were all waiting for this. Guy has Ravens ties. Um, I thought for the most part, his defense was looking pretty good yesterday. Kept him in the game. It was 9-3 at a point. Hunter Henry gets open, 16-3 ball game. I mean, Well, first off, not to jump into this, is anybody surprised a Greg Roman offense in the playoffs pooped the bed? I'm not.
Man, that offensive line was brutal last night. I'll tell you that much, man. I mean, Herbert was getting absolutely annihilated back there. It was bad. It was very, very bad. But no, I'm not surprised that a Greg Roman offense struggled in the playoffs. Continue though.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Linderbaum is a Charger next year. Not to go too fast, but going to Jesse Minter, we were waiting for this one. We all expected this, and I saw Charger fans posting a picture of Jim and Jesse Minter, and then John Harbaugh and Mike McDonald. Basically, they rate this guy how we rated Mike McDonald. That's how much they don't want to lose him. Um, he's not in my top three. I think the whole former Ravens stuff kind of shies me away, but once again, like having him in, maybe they see something in him, and who knows, maybe he's our Mike McDonald that became a head coach. I'm not too sure, but this one was always going to happen.
Yeah. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, Alex, it's like I think the Ravens' philosophy when it comes to their next head coaching hire is okay, who can win us championships now? Like right now. You know what I mean? Like not a guy who has to kind of, get a sea legs under him, you give him 2, 3 years, developmental years. We don't have that. Right? I mean, we have Lamar Jackson, a 29-year-old Lamar Jackson, going to be 30 next year. He's not getting any younger. He's not going to get any faster, right? We need to maximize what we have out of this guy right now. And with the combination of Jesse Minter being a defensive guy, so he's not going to elevate Lamar Jackson necessarily unless you get a genius OC to go with him. Number two, he is he's a Harbaughite, right? Like he's from that same Harbaugh tree, so that kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth. Like, okay, if we're gonna move off of Harbaugh, let's move completely out of the Harbaugh family, right? And let's go somewhere a totally different direction. The combination of those things, I think, kind of does kind of deter me from wanting Jesse Minter as the next Ravens head coach. Would I be mad at it? Would I hate it? No, because there is that potential, Alex, like you said, to get the next Mike McDonald out of this guy, right? And seeing what he did with that Chargers defense, especially in the second half of the season, I mean, unlocking guys like Adafe. Oh, wait, what did you say? 3 sacks last night? 2 forced
Yeah,
fumbles?
I
Had the
think
best game of his career.
I think Void said it in 11 games, including the playoffs. Alway had 10 and a half sacks.
Yeah. So he got to double-digit sacks on the season, even after playing for the Ravens and getting none for what, the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, Alex, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, and it really makes you look at Zach Orr a certain kind of way. Speaking of Zach Orr, just really quick aside here, Zach Orr, I think he got a request to be interviewed for the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator job. I think I
Yep.
read that somewhere today. What do you think about that, Alex?
I mean, good for him. He's from Texas. I'm all for a good, comeback
Oh,
story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just they fired Matt Eberflus for how bad their defense was, and you're gonna put once again, no disrespect. I just think him going to a DC is a little too green for him right now. I think he's too green. He's had 2 years under his belt. Maybe 1 year as a linebackers coach wouldn't hurt. Take your mind off of it, off whole defense aspect, and just focus on those guys. But if you can get land that with the Cowboys, I mean, good on him. That's a really big role. And if you thought the Ravens criticism was bad and the media, you're in Dallas. You're in Jerry Road. 10 times worse.
Yeah, yeah. The scrutiny would be way crazier than it is, like you said, way crazier than it is in Baltimore because that is the biggest football market in the NFL. Man, the Dallas Cowboys are no joke. You will be under the microscope at all times, right? But like you said, wish nothing but the best for him. It just didn't work out in Baltimore. He just too ahead of his skis. It seemed like there's no reason for your defense, 2 seasons in a row to start off as a bottom 5 defense in the league. It's just that's not the Ravens' way at all. I'm glad that they cleaned house on him. Bashadi really applied pressure this past week, man.
Yeah.
I was so surprised, man. Like he got Harbaugh up out of there, Munkin up out of there, Zach Orr up out of there. Some of the assistant coaches again are still yet to be talked about. Chris Horton was somebody that people were talking about. Also, of course, George Warhop, like we mentioned earlier. But yeah, I think they need to do a clear, just clear it out completely, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. And when you look at, bringing up Minter, this guy unlocks Adafe Owe. What
Yeah.
did he do different? What were they doing that we couldn't do? And that's something that, maybe that's something they could ask him. How do you plan on Jesse Minter, let's say you're coming to the Baltimore Ravens. We
Mm-hmm,
have this
mm-hmm.
second round pick who is a first round talent, top 15 talent. How would you unlock Mike Green? Questions like that. Obviously with the Lamar
Yeah.
questions, but it just
Yeah.
that's a lot of capital you invested on him. How will you get your return from him?
Yeah. First of all, I think Mike Green needs to put on a little bit more weight. That's first and foremost. But yeah, definitely that's something I'll be asking the likes of Jesse Minter or Brian Flores or Robert Sala or any of these other defensive guys who are interviewing with us. How are you going to unlock these young guys? Right. That's important. Let's keep moving here. Ravens request to interview Nathan Shilhassi. Rams pass game coordinator Nate Shilhassi has head coach interview requests from the Ravens, Browns, and Raiders. Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula has head coach interview requests from Miami, Tennessee, the Giants, Las Vegas, and Arizona. So the Rams, they're getting their coaches poached. They're getting their coaches poached after this season, and rightfully so. I mean, you come from that Sean McVay tree. Everybody wants a piece. I want a piece, right? I would not mind, having a Mike LaFleur, but for some reason they have not mentioned, interviewing Mike LaFleur yet, and I don't really know why. I would love to know why, but they just have not. But what do you think about this Nate Shilhassi, pass game coordinator for the Rams?
I mean, I respect this guy's come up. I have his career history here.
Mm,
Started just 10 years ago at Illinois
mm,
football operations. Football operations. Actually, speaking of coaches, I have a little one near and dear to my heart we can talk about after we talk about the Ravens because somebody from the Jags just got a request for an interview from the Browns. I'll talk about that. But worked his way up in Illinois, became the offensive assistant, went to Iowa State, running backs coach and receivers coach,
yeah,
became the running game coordinator, and then worked his way up to the offensive coordinator in 2023. In 24, just last year, became an offensive assistant and a pass game specialist. 1 year as the pass game coordinator, and you're already receiving head coaching interviews. Like that Sean McVay, that McVay last name holds a lot of weight in the NFL. Definitely,
yeah,
definitely interesting. He's 35 years old. He, I believe, played quarterback as well in college. Um, but this is, I think he's too green. I'll be honest with you. I think maybe going to a team that could really use him that's kind of down in the dumps, but I don't think he'll be our head coach, unfortunately. Definitely, I'm a name to keep on to.
yeah. I mean, I just think that with the competition that he's up against, with the likes of, again, the Salas, the Kubiaks, the Floreses, all those guys, again, it just from an experience aspect, they would probably rule him out. Again, I love that they're doing their due diligence, but I don't think that he's going to be coming in as the next Ravens head coach because, like I said before, Alex, like the Ravens need somebody who is ready to go right now. You know what I mean? Ready to go right now. And I don't think a 35-year-old Nate Shilhassi will be able to woo Steve Bisciotti and company enough to get him the nod over some of these other guys that we're interviewing. So
Can you go back up to the tweet? I see D Wiz mentioned they're interviewing for package deals. Oh, head coach. So it was a head coach interview. Maybe they will ask about OC as well. But as an
yeah,
OC, this guy will be very interesting. Coming from that McVay tree and the pass game specialist, that's that catches my eye there. Definitely for an OC, wouldn't hate that. Obviously, the Rams offense is probably should have had more touchdowns against the Panthers. We'll talk about it later, but it's like I said, it's good to bring these guys in, just fresh, youthful information.
yeah. Chris Shula, the Ravens also scheduled an interview with. So yeah, like we said, the demand for the Rams assistance, man, it's really, really ramping up. Defensive coordinator Chris Shula has requests from the Cardinals, Raiders, Titans, Giants, Ravens, and Dolphins. So this is another name that's kind of been, hot in the streets right now. Like some people want Chris Shula to come in and be the next Ravens head coach. Alex, what can you tell me about Chris Shula?
That last name, I'll be honest, I can see him picking the Dolphins over the Ravens if push came to shove.
Makes
I
sense.
think
Yeah.
following in with that last name, it just holds a
Yeah.
lot of weight. So he's the grandson of the legendary Don freaking Shula, coach of the
Yeah.
only team to ever go undefeated a full NFL season. Um, but young guy, McVay, watching that Rams game. You watch the Rams Panthers game on Saturday by any chance?
I caught glimpses of it, not the whole thing.
Bryce started heating up, but definitely some guys in secondary don't know what they're doing on some of the breakdowns. Um, Definitely kind of have a glass on him. I think I'll be watching their game next week a little bit with just that microscope and see what this defense is about. If he could bring that to Baltimore, but he's another hot name you see here. Request from Cards, Raiders, Titans, Giants, Ravens, Dolphins. Um,
Yeah.
it's that last name, that McVay name.
And then they mentioned Mike LaFleur has requests from the Raiders and Cardinals, and like that's it. And it's like, what the heck? Like, what's wrong with Mike LaFleur? Am I missing something, Alex? Like, why are we not interviewing Mike LaFleur? It would seem like it would make all the sense in the world. I mean, offensive guy can take Lamar Jackson to higher heights. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with that? Runs 13 personnel. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, look what he did with their tight ends there. I heard Greg Olsen gushing over their tight ends. When you think of tight
Yeah,
ends in Baltimore, I mean,
we
you
got
would
plenty
think,
of tight ends.
and I mean, look at the history of drafting them. I mean, for
Yeah,
Pete's sake, we turned Darren Waller from a receiver into a tight end, into when he was at his prime, a top 3 tight end in the league. I mean, it
yeah.
just, I think it would make sense.
Let me see. Flagship Fantasy with a comment here says Sutton, how about Salah? And he brings Clay Kubiak with him. Clint's my number one, but in this case, we get a fiery head coach on defense and still get the Shanahan system. Feel like that may satisfy the fan base. No, I mean, I like that. I like that, right? I mean, you get the best of both worlds there. I mean, you get a defensive guy who can reestablish the culture of a dominant Ravens defense. You get a leader, like a natural born leader, leader of men. You definitely need that. And then you bring in a genius as offensive coordinator to help Lamar Jackson grow. I mean, I would love that. I would love that. But these are, I don't know. It seems like a pipe dream. I just feel like we're not, the Ravens fan base is not going to be totally satisfied with the hire. I just have this weird feeling, Alex. Like we're going to get somebody who, like, kind of out of left field a little bit. Somebody
Yeah,
who we're not really banking on. It's going to be like, well, I guess we'll get hyped for. I just have a
yeah,
feeling, man. Just again with the wide net that they're casting, like I keep saying, like they're something's up. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know how to explain it. Something's up, Alex.
Remember, when the NFL zigs, the Ravens zag.
The
That's what we've
Ravens
been told.
zag.
That's what we've been
Yes.
told. So we should see it. Um,
Yeah.
Fun fact: the Kubiaks, Clint and Clay have a third brother, Klein.
Yeah.
So more you know, the Kubiak Bros. Dewa says
Uh.
Mike
Yeah.
LaFleur was with the Jets. It wasn't
Oh my
pretty.
gosh, this again. Yeah, Mike White and Zach Wilson. Come on, man. Cut him some slack. Cut him some slack, D-Was. Thank you for the super chat donation, brother. But no, I mean, anybody with the Jets. The Jets are just, again, absolute dumpster fire. I said this on the last episode. I won't spend too much time on it, but, I think you got to give him some grace there. You got to give him some grace. Nobody's good with the Jets.
I mean, look at Aaron Glenn's defenses with the Lions. I mean, for Pete's sake, he had Kirby Joseph getting 10 picks. It felt like
Yeah.
their defense went a whole year without one interception. They just might
Insane.
be cursed. Let's just talk about it. They might be cursed. They must have pissed somebody off.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't imagine being on that level of poverty. Your fan base, they go into the season expecting disappointment, and I don't know. Prayers up, thoughts and prayers to the Jets fans out there, man, because yeah, you guys are no limit soldiers for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving here. What else do we have since the last time? Completed an interview with Matt Nagy. I think we talked about that on the last one. Both
Yeah.
you and I were out on Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
It's a no go. Not for head coach. Hell, not even OC. Nah, we're good. We're good.
If I'm the Chiefs,
Um,
though,
Go ahead.
I
Yeah.
get rid of Matt Nagy. I bring in Cliff Kingsbury as my OC. Then you can start
Mm.
cooking. Get Mahomes back with Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, that might be the move for them. I mean, the Chiefs are going to have to make some adjustments this offseason and kind of come back stronger. This was supposed to be the revenge year, but they completely just fell off, and they're going to have to do some soul searching this offseason, I'm sure. But this news is a little bit interesting here. So the Browns are to interview offensive coordinator Todd Monken for their head coaching job.
Yes.
Alex, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, a familiar face, of course, Todd Monken. If he goes over to the Browns in division, like that could be a little dangerous, no?
Yeah, I mean, he was already their OC. Was there, I think, during the Odell years. Well, I
Mm,
mean, it wasn't bad by any means, but he definitely, don't want to say peaked here, but had his best years here. I just think it's once again them just trying to bring a name in here. I don't think he'll get the job, but I think he's more suited for an offensive coordinator role, not really a head coaching role, to be honest. But we'll see. I just don't think it'll happen.
yeah, me neither. Me neither. By the way, 126 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on X, maybe consider shifting over to YouTube, right? The YouTube, not bad. Active chat community over there. You want to have conversations with us, chop it up with the Rain Gang.
It's
Check
fun.
us out on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for coming through, though, regardless. All right, let's see. I think that was it. I think that was all of the latest news since last time.
Oh, this
Uh
T. Martin
oh.
interviewing for
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
Lions offensive coordinator position. Not the Commanders because I think they got David Blow as their new OC, but this one I think it was coming. This guy was a big reason why I think Sam Darnold got drafted in the first round in 2019. Was there at USC. I think Lamar elevated once he became the QB coach over James Urban. I think Lamar had good years, but not great years. Those final two with
Yeah.
James Urban, and once T. Martin took over, I think this guy allowed Lamar to be himself again, and Lamar trusted him, and I think he would do great things for the Lions. I think it's between probably him and Mike McDaniel, the two names I've seen for their OC position.
Yeah. Definitely proud of T. Martin, man. I've been following him on social media for the past couple of years. He seems like a really stand-up guy, and he deserves this chance, man. He deserves this opportunity. You know, I, it's just like the natural succession. I almost wanted to say like if Zach Orr can get a shot at it, you know what I mean? T. Martin definitely deserves it. A shot at it as well at a coordinating job. But hopefully he does well wherever he ends up going. But best of luck to him, man. I really like T. Martin. I really do. But okay, Alex, I think that was the latest of all
That
the
is
head coaching, interviews and the interviews that they have scheduled. But the point of it all is that the Ravens are not, they're doing their due diligence, right? They are leaving no stone unturned. And again, we appreciate that. But it does lead me to believe that they will come out of this head coaching hiring process hiring a guy out of completely left field. Like it's probably not going to be anybody in either of our top threes. I would hope so. But I just feel like they're going to come out of left field with this in
yeah.
some way, shape, or form. It's just, as a Ravens fan, I know how this team operates. Maybe they've turned a new leaf. Who knows? But I'm thinking, oh, but real quick, Alex, when is that press conference supposed to be with Bashadi and EDC?
I think tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, right?
I
Yeah.
think so. Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I thought it was either the 13th or the 17th. One
I
of the
think it's
two.
tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Okay. Okay. So I don't expect them to have a head coach by tomorrow. Obviously, they still have a lot of candidates to interview, but it'll be interesting to see what Steve Bisciotti has to say and where his mindset is around this team and where he wants it to go. Is it the 13th though? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Got it. Okay, got you. Perfect, perfect. Okay, we'll definitely be covering that. Make sure you stay tuned into the channel because that'll be a good episode. That'll be a good
That'll
episode.
be
Let's move on here, Alex.
yeah, of course.
Let's move
Of
on
course.
here to let me see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, we got some reactions. We got some
We
reactions to
do.
NFL Wild Card Weekend, right?
We do.
Alex, let me start it off with this, and we can go through the schedule because it was some
Okay.
good games, some really good games. I was concerned going into this year's playoffs that it just would not feel the same. It wouldn't be entertaining. You don't have the usual suspects of Lamar and Mahomes and maybe even a Burrow, who I know he's missed a couple of playoffs in recent years as well. But all you're really looking at is like Josh Allen, and then like are the Patriots really still going to look good? And the Broncos are the 1 seed. Do they really feel like a 1 seed? Are the Jaguars phony? Are they for real? Then on the NFC side, it's a totally different story. I just didn't know how to feel about it going into it. But coming out of this wild card weekend, and we still have Steelers and Texans tonight in about an hour, I am very, very satisfied. The NFL has as the kids say, they've done their big one this year, right? They've got new interest out of me in way more teams than ever before, seemingly. Like the Bears, I'm locked in with the Bears. That Bears Packers rivalry, cinema, absolute cinema, right? Ben Johnson doing what he did after that game, I loved it. The Rams look like a perennial Super Bowl contending team. Love it. What I saw from them. Man, I mean, the Patriots again, just all over the Justin Herbert and the Chargers, who Justin Herbert still doesn't have a playoff win. Alex, let's go through the schedule. What was the first game? Go. Let's go through them one by one and react to them.
The Rams at the Panthers. And by the way, Carolina showed out. I mean, the fans, they deserved it. I mean, just last year, their tickets were going for pennies. You could have a
Mm,
$5 bill and get into their game. And for them in 1 year to have a playoff game, albeit they're 8-9, still made it, and they packed it up. And I'll be damned, they gave the Rams they gave them hell. Gave them boys hell. They gave the 5 seed Rams, my Super Bowl winner, hell. I mean, took them to the final quarter, final minutes. Um, Great game, and like we said, the Panthers are weird because when they play a good team, they're gonna play them up. When they play a bad team, they're gonna lose. They play their competition. That's
yeah.
something that's got to be improved on. But I thought Bryce Young was I mean, he fought back. I think from a bad first quarter, but that's what you want to see from your young quarterback. And I saw strides out of him. Um, I'm looking forward to see the Panthers next year. It's gonna be a fun team to watch. And Tet, offensive rookie of the year.
Hmm. Really? You would say Ted
I,
McMillan? I think he had a slow start to the season. You know,
he turned it on.
Ibuka kind of fell off. Who
Yeah.
else would have been? Who else would have been a candidate for that?
I mean, Drake May might get it. Wait, no, no,
Well, no,
he's
he's
second.
not
I'm
rookie
sorry, he's
yet.
second year. He's
Yeah.
second year. I'm sorry, rookie. I checked the odds and he was the odds on favor. Now I've checked his past couple of games and I'm like, oh wow, like he's turned it on in the stretch.
Hmm. Oh yeah, he definitely has. I mean, I had him in fantasy all year, and I was kind of disappointed in the first half of the season, but he pulled it together. He pulled it together. But no, he could definitely win it. I mean, but you make a good point. The Panthers, they do play down to the level of their competition. That is, very familiar with the Ravens. The Ravens have tended to do that over the past decade or so. But no, man, I think that that final drive, Rams down 4 with less than a minute to go, Matthew Stafford making the throws to get you down that field and score a touchdown, man. I just think that that is what a Super Bowl winning team looks like. I mean, I just envisioned that Rams team playing in the Super Bowl as I watched that Panthers game because it's just like it felt like they couldn't be denied. It felt like they could not be denied, and you know, I don't see anybody beating them. I mean, I think that who do they play next week? Rams and who is it?
Seahawks. Is it?
No, no,
Is
no.
it?
49ers play
No.
the Seahawks. 49ers play the Seahawks
Oh, they
next week.
do. Yep. So they play the Bears.
The Bears, right, right, right. Yeah. Oh man, that is going to be. Oh, I cannot wait. Ben Johnson versus Sean McVay. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is going to be a great game, man. But overall, a great start to Wild Card Weekend with that game. Puka Nakua, of course, looking great minus that one drop, but you let him get away with that after scoring 2 touchdowns to start the game. You know, but I really like what I saw from the Rams.
Yeah, I definitely looking forward to seeing that. And I have a really fun fact for you. All
Okay.
right. I don't know if you've seen this.
Hmm.
Sean McVay will be coaching his 15th playoff game next week.
Okay.
All 15 games have been against different teams. He has not played the same team twice in the playoffs.
Really
hmm
interesting.
That's just the NFC. Think about all the teams that, I mean, with the AFC, you have your Chiefs, your Bills, your Ravens, but the NFC, not too long ago, the Saints were running the NFC South. His
Yeah.
first playoff game, I'll never forget it. They lost to the Matt Ryan led Falcons. I was so hyped for this. I was a huge McVay guy. Um, they've played all these teams, 15 different teams in 15 different games. Very
That's
impressive.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't see it like that. I mean, there's something behind. I was just talking to like I told you, I had company come in from San Francisco over the weekend, and I was talking to him, and I was like, there's something behind like the science of NFL conferences, right? It seems like each conference has like a distinct has distinct characteristics to them, right? Like NFC is more known for offense, right? AFC is more known for defense. Why is that? You know what I mean? NFC, it seems like there's a new contender every single year, right? And there's just so much parity. But again, like you said, with the AFC, you have your four horsemen, or you have the Bills and Chiefs and the Ravens, and maybe another one is interchangeable. But I don't know what goes into that. I really don't. But it's interesting. That's a good fun fact. Really good fun
Yeah, and
fact.
and the two teams he hasn't played in the playoffs, Giants and Commanders. If they won last year their divisional game, they would have played the Commanders in the NFC Championship and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So it would have been 17 different teams in 17 different games.
Interesting.
It's
That's
it's
interesting.
crazy. It's crazy. But that was a great game. They turned it on. They had to. Moving on to the next game, arguably the best game of the weekend,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, at Lambeau. the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. The Packers did their best Ravens impersonation. 21-3 lead at halftime, and you blow it. I mean, I just don't know. I had PTSD from watching it. Like you could feel the momentum change. Um, I'd say that fourth down throw by Caleb Williams was just a thing of beauty. DJ Moore stepping
Man.
up. This Colston Loveland guy, I am a huge fan of him at tight end. Obviously, I know who that is, but I love what he brings. I think he'll be, Caleb's probably favorite target for the coming years. It's hard not to be excited if you're a Bears fan. You guys can have Cap for a couple more years, build around this team, and you can hopefully go far.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, what I saw from Caleb Williams in that game was very reminiscent of what I saw from Caleb Williams at USC. Right, he was making some of the same sort of plays that I used to see him make back in college, and like you mentioned that fourth down play where I think you're talking about the one where he's scrambling out to his left and he still
Yes.
throws it downfield, like he jumps in midair and like throws it downfield like a dime. I
Oh,
was like, bro, like this kid, him and Ben Johnson, the tandem of those two, they could be a problem in the NFC for a very, very long time. And this for this to be only Caleb Williams' second season, man, the sky's the limit for this kid. Sky's the limit. I love what they have going on there. The Packers, man, I was surprised that they didn't go ahead and move off of Matt LaFleur. I'd heard rumblings of that before this game, but I heard this morning that they're trying to extend him. But after blowing a lead like that, man, I don't know how you could justify, bringing him back. But would have loved that for the Ravens because I would have wanted the Ravens to go ahead and maybe at least interview Matt LaFleur. But no, overall, that was a good game. Caleb Williams made some sick plays in that one. And listen, man, Rams versus Bears next week in Chicago. That is going to, again, absolute cinema. By the way, what did you think about after the game? Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur kind of having that embrace where Ben Johnson kind of like looks him off a little bit. He's like, he barely wants to shake his hand, and then he goes to the locker room. He's like, F the Packers. What do you think about all that?
I love it. I mean, I'm the guy who I got mad at Harbaugh for being scared of coaching Andy Reid. That's what a rivalry is all about. That's no different to Ravens Steelers. That's how our guys were back in the day. They hated Pittsburgh. And I want my head coach to hate my biggest rival too. They shook
Yeah.
hands. That could have been better, but outside of that, win the game on the field, and Ben Johnson has had LaFleur's number. So when you're up, you can talk.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I honestly really, really liked that rivalry, kind of having that spirited hate. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good for the league. I was watching Good Morning Football this morning, and the woman host on there, I can't remember her name, but
Jamie, I believe. I want to say.
something like the
Okay.
blonde. She's blonde.
I think Jamie Erdl, I want to say
Yeah,
her name is.
something like that. But she was saying how like this is really good for the NFL, like having kind of like that passion back in the game where like this team does not like that team. They don't respect each other. Like, no, we hate them. And she kind of like threw some shade at the NBA a little bit. And she was like, yeah, there's some other sports leagues where like, people are too buddy buddy and like there's really no compelling stories and things like that. And like, I was like, that's actually kind of true. And, again, she was throwing shade at the NBA with that very clearly. But no, I loved it. I'm right there with you, bro. I want to see more of these kind of like heated rivalries take place, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to see all the buddy buddy stuff. Like this is what football is about, right? But
That's
yeah, overall,
that's how I
great
feel with
game. Go ahead.
baseball too. Like Yankees, Red
Mm,
Sox. I want y'all to fight. I obviously baseball, but I want just that like hatred of each other. Like if you're the biggest rivalry, I want to see it. Basketball. I mean, what Lakers Celtics was big, obviously. Pistons Bulls in the '90s. But what's that big rivalry in the NBA right now? Because I've barely been hip to it.
yeah,
Because teams are
you got to
just
create
switching. It feels like.
conflict. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to create
It's Dylan
conflict
Brooks
in
against
these leagues,
LeBron.
man.
That's like the biggest rivalry I've seen right now. Like he's just a thorn in his side. He's a freaking guy. He loves annoying him. But yeah, that was a great game. What was next one was Jags Bills. This one was came to the end. Trevor Lawrence definitely have wasn't the best games for him. Definitely can tell he's not been in many playoff games, but he had a lead, and I think the Bills gave him a chance to at least go down the field and win it. And the first play he has to win the game, Trey White, old friend, tips the pass and is intercepted. But for me, the story of the game is the 11-yard tush push. That was
Oh,
definitely that was interesting. Um,
It was annoying, is what it was. It's like, bro, are
yeah,
you guys not gonna tackle him? Like, bro, what are we doing right now? And then like the Bills like totally disrespected them the play after that. They immediately punch it into the end zone. They don't even try to kneel it, take some more time off the clock. They're like, no, we'll give you all the ball back with a minute left. We have no faith in your offense, right? And sure enough, Trevor Lawrence comes out there and throws a pick on the very first play. By the way, in that game, because I watched that game in its entirety yesterday, there were a couple of really huge calls in the first half that kind of like had this game swaying back and forth a little bit, right? Like the Trevor Lawrence one where they were in the red zone and he like tries to scamper for the first down, but he like his shin comes down right before and they review it. And I'm pretty sure they ended up overturning it. That was a huge point swing, right? The Jaguars were getting ready to go up 2 scores, but instead the ensuing drive after that, the Bills score and they take the lead, right? So I think that the Jags they fought hard, right? But I think it's like one of those playoff pedigree sort of things. It just felt like
yeah,
at the end of it, like the Bills, like okay, we've been here, we've done this before. Jags take a little step back. You know what I mean? Like I
yep.
know Trevor Lawrence has been in the league 5 years at this point. Maybe it is time for him to start seeing some real playoff success. But this is Josh Allen's year. Josh Allen looked great. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He was getting banged up in that game. I think his knee, his finger, he got landed on like literally one of the defensive linemen or a linebacker landed on his face. Like it was bad. Josh Allen was getting
Yeah.
beat up, but he was still running hard. Had a couple of rushing touchdowns, a couple passing touchdowns, and then that one throw at the end of it, man, where like
Yep.
number 0 from the Jags was like screaming in Josh Allen's face, like he was literally about to sack him, and he just unrips a bomb down the field to Brandon Cooks, and I'm just like, whoa, what an anticipatory throw from Josh Allen right there. Just amazing stuff. I mean, I wanted the Bills to lose in horrifying fashion to see all the think pieces on Josh Allen today, but we don't get that. We got to wait another week because Allen and the Bills looked really good.
Yeah, they did. What wasn't good was Tony Romo's commentary. I definitely tried to tune that out. It was getting a little nasty at points. I don't know if you were listening to it too. I was like, all right, Tony, calm down. Great
Like what
quarterback.
specifically? Like glazing them?
It was glazing. He was getting mad at Josh Allen getting hit at points too. Protect him. Why? Like it is
Yeah,
football. It is football, Tony. It is football. Don't drop the snap in 2006. But moving on now to the next game, the
yeah,
49ers and the Eagles.
yeah,
That as well was a fantastic game. We kind of touched on it. The Niners banged up. Obviously, no Pearsall, their first round pick, no Ayuk, somebody who they gave a bunch of money to not too long ago,
yeah.
going in. How about old friend Demarcus Robinson? Yeah, old
Yeah,
friend.
stepping up.
I mean, what 58-yard catch and a touchdown. I mean, good on him. Brock Purdy was trying to get things going, made a couple mistakes, which you cannot make those against good teams because it will make you pay. But unfortunately, the Eagles aren't the best of teams apparently. Obviously, AJ Brown dropping passes. I mean, we can talk about that as well. I mean, he'll obviously be available for trade in about
Yeah,
a month or so. I definitely think he
yeah.
will not be an Eagle much longer.
No,
But I thought they did a good job trying to contain Christian McCaffrey. But when it's all said and done, Kyle Shanahan is probably to me top 3 coach in the league because your star player is not getting involved running wise. So you draw up a pass play. Jawan Jennings to Christian McCaffrey. I have a fun fact for you. Fun, I
okay.
saw it. Justin Herbert, 2 passing touchdowns in the playoffs. Jawan Jennings, 2 passing touchdowns in the playoffs.
Uh oh.
Welcome. When you are a good quarterback, Mr. Herbert, welcome to the nasty conversations you get put in.
Yeah,
Enjoy your stay.
yeah. Yeah, and just speaking of that play yesterday, I mean, the rabbit out of the hat from the 49ers to dial that up, right? Jawan Jennings, a deep ball to Christian McCaffrey over the shoulder, perfect catch, lands in the end zone. And by the way, just to add insult to the I word, right? I mean, Jawan Jennings gets a roughing call as well, from Jalen Carter. I mean, in what world do we live in where Juwan Jennings is getting roughing the passer like, by Jalen Carter? I don't know. It was great to see though. The Eagles, I, I think it was kind of like a culmination. Like basically, what I left that game thinking was that everything that people said about the Eagles this year was true, and I didn't want to believe it all year. But the problems in the locker room, AJ Brown and Hurts, they're not really close or whatever. Like we kind of saw all of that come to a head. Of course, like you mentioned with the drops, they just looked out of sync, at times, and that's what it boiled down to. I mean, I'm glad that the 49ers were able to get out of that game. I mean, obviously George Kittle going down is huge for them
Mhm.
towards Achilles in this one. He's out for the season. But I like the 49ers chances moving forward. I mean, against next week against Mike McDonald and the Seahawks, I don't know how they'll fare, but they look good last night.
Mike McDonald has Brock Purdy's number. I know the game not too long ago, he shut him down in San Fran. Christmas Day 2023. Five
Shut him
picks against the
down.
Niners, shut him down. I didn't see that first game if he shut him down too, but I see somebody mention, yeah, Jawan Jennings, I think, was a higher rated quarterback coming out of high school than Lamar, Burrow, and Darnold. So former quarterback obviously can make that throw, but it's to pull it out in that situation, big rocks, but it paid off. So that was a great game, and the way it ended too, fourth down, you're kind of touching the end zone very close and you can't get it. Sucks. But oh well. And then on to the final game last night, the
Mhm.
Chargers and the Patriots. 16-3. It was like it was a game for most of it. Then once the Patriots scored the touchdown, you knew it was over. But one thing I got frustrated with, and a lot of times these guys are just going for fourth down, going for it on fourth down in the red zone, especially teams like the Jags. Um, you need those points. And I obviously, if you're a team like the Chiefs, the Bills, I get it. You haven't been here that often. The Chargers, for example, you can go up 3-0. I get you're, in the side of the 5 or 10 yard line. You have Greg Roman. I tweeted, you have a Greg Roman offense. Take as many points as you can get with him. But they went for it and didn't get it. So I'm all for it. Obviously, the better team's doing it, but teams like the Chargers, Jags, you need those points. Take them when you can.
That's fair, but I think I disagree with you there, Alex, only because, you know, when you're playing against some of these high powered teams, I mean, like the Bills, right? Like you have to put up like you'll get beat if you're continuously putting up 3 points on the board. You will get beat. You have to be able to score touchdowns. Points are at a premium, like you said, especially in the playoffs. However, if you're not able to put up six against the Bills, against and I know some of these teams aren't in the playoffs right now, but the Ravens, the Chiefs, and so on and so forth, right? Like you are probably going to lose a lot of those games. So I respect going for it on fourth down, and trying to be aggressive in that regard. And the analytics in a lot of cases say go for it as well in these scenarios too. Just because again, it's an offensive league, right? You cannot be settling for 3 points because your opponent can easily come down and score a touchdown on the very next drive, and now your 3 points seems like nothing, right? So I just I get it, like you want to take the points, but at the same time, man, I totally see why these coaches want to be aggressive in these scenarios, playing against some of these high octane offenses. I do.
Yeah, I mean, mainly except for the Jags, I thought if they kicked that field goal when they went for it and Lawrence's knee was down, I think the game's tied. Then obviously, it's a catch 22. But then with the Chargers as well, like we knew what a Greg Roman offense is in the playoffs. You got to take the
Yeah.
points when you can, and then the Harbaughs. I mean, Jim Harbaugh had the Harbaugh look on his face. I saw it yesterday, and
Yeah.
I know
Well, I
the
mean,
line and everything,
they
but I
had
saw
yeah,
the all
say yeah.
22. There was that
Uh-huh.
one run. Herbert had McConkey wide open, but he put his head down and ran. I'll see if I can find the video, but there was the all 22, the coach's film. He had McConkey wide open, I think, on the first or second drive for 7. I missed him.
Missed him. Yeah, I mean Herbert definitely missed some throws. I mean his offensive line was not good at all last night. I'll
Yeah.
say that, but hey man, it's tough, man. Herbert in what year 5, year 6, still no playoff wins. And the people on Good Morning Football this morning, like I said, I was watching that earlier. They were really like shooting Justin Herbert some bail. They're like we want this guy to be a star, and like it's just not really coming to fruition right now. But we still think that he's really really good, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's like okay, at what point are we going to call it for what it is? This guy is not a playoff riser. He's just not. I mean, we talked about Lamar Jackson for all those years. Oh, he can't get it done in big games, right? He gets into the playoffs and he chokes, things like that. But Justin Herbert, I just don't see that same energy being kept for Jay Herbo over in LA. But neither here nor there. They're eliminated. Their season's done.
Take a seat with
Whatever.
us. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Come sit on the chair with us.
exactly. But overall, a really, really good super wild card weekend. Of
Yeah.
course, we have the last game starting in about 20 minutes here. Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that should be a good one. That should be a good one. Um, who did you pick for that one? You picked the Texans, right?
I picked the Texans. I did.
Yeah, I did as well. I did as well. I do think it'll be closer than a lot of people expect, but I
Yes.
do have the Texans edging out the Steelers. Maybe a late game turnover or something like that that really shuts the door. I could totally see it, but I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a good game. You?
So something's got to give here. Texans 0-6 in road games. Steelers
Mm.
23-0 Monday Night Football games. Something has
23 and
got to
0.
give. Yes.
What a
Yeah.
stat. What? That is
Yeah.
crazy. Hey
Yeah.
man, I mean if the Steelers win this tonight and then you have the Steelers going to New England, I think next week
Yep.
to play the Patriots.
Already beat them
Ah,
this year.
already
They
beat
had
them. Yeah,
5 turnovers. The Patriots had.
man. I don't know what I would think if the Steelers somehow ended up making a playoff run. It's totally possible. Again, with the AFC kind of looking as wide open as it is right now. Because again, I'm not really afraid of. And I know the Ravens aren't in the playoffs, but I'm not afraid of the Broncos. I'm really not afraid of the Bills. I'm really not afraid of the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are good, but the Steelers, they have a chance. They have a chance to make a run. I mean, and it's all the Ravens' fault. We should not have let them in the door. It should be us, not them, playing tonight. We should be getting ready for a Ravens versus Texans matchup where we would probably both have the Ravens winning. But instead, we got to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, DeKalen Zacharias Metcalf, and those boys see if they can pull it off. I don't think that they will, but I do think it will be close. Can't wait to
Yeah.
watch it though. Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I was talking about that at work today. I was like, man, if that was the Ravens, I'd probably be going to the game tonight. I'd be getting ready to go to the game, all in my Raven stuff. But I'm not. And Chris here says, don't put the bad energy out there. Hashtag go Texans. Go Texans indeed. We are all Texans fans
Yeah.
tonight. We are all hate watching tonight. I'll probably watch like the first half and go to sleep and hopefully wake up to good news.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., that pass rush is on Aaron Rodgers' ass all night long. That's what I'm hoping for. Chris M., thank you so much for celebrating 4 months of membership here with the Rain Gang family. We appreciate you, Chris. As always supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I think that was about it, Alex. I think that was about it for the head coaching stuff for the Ravens. We covered the wild card weekend. Was there any other news that we're missing out on?
I think we hit it all, I want to say.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did. Well, all right. That's going to do it for this episode 369 of the Purple Rain podcast. Again, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to our channel as well. We got plenty more Ravens content coming your way. Of course, this head coaching carousel for the Ravens right now. They're bringing in guys for interviews, and we'll probably know in the next, I'd say maybe 2 weeks-ish, right? Who the next Ravens head coach will be. Make sure you stay tuned and locked into PRP for that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Sutton Def. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. This is Simply AS10 over here. You can find him on Twitter at SimplyAS10, on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. Again, we love you guys, appreciate you guys. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my Twitter to load up because I do have a little bit of news about our old buddy, old pal. Giants executive Chris Mara told The Athletic he met John Harbaugh for lunch Sunday and had an informal meeting at the coach's house. People on both sides say Harbaugh remains very interested in the Giants' job. So, ending with what we let off with, probably the Giants or the Dolphins.
Yeah, gotta be. And I'm really, really thinking, because it just makes all the sense in the world for the
Yeah.
Giants. You know what I mean? Like, again, like Dolphins, it seems great weather down there in Miami. You know what I mean? Great kind of retirement destination type of coaching job, whatever. But the Giants give you the best chance to kind of revitalize your career. You can really prove some stuff if you're John Harbaugh and you turn up Jackson Dart and the Giants, right? Jackson Dart in his second year, I'm sure he's learned a lot from his rookie season, losing a lot of guys, having to play with depleted rosters, things like that. John Harbaugh could potentially develop a really good relationship with Jackson Dart, and really stabilize that team and have them competing for the NFC East title. I could totally see it. So again, if it were my money, I was putting on it. I'm going John Harbaugh to the Giants.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there it is. So thank you for coming through episode 369 of the Purple Rain podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
Yes, 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 and never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 369 of PRP. We're gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.